Good morning, legends. How are you guys going? What a crazy week and weekend we had last week. I've got quite a lot to tell you about today, and you know what? I didn't actually take notes on it all, so I hope that I get everything out and don't forget anything. But what I want to talk to you today about is about this particular move that we've had over the last week, why I believe it's fake, and also what to be really careful of right now, because I want to get into, should we actually even expect a reversal? So might be a little bit of shocking news, of course, because everybody's saying a pullback is due and whatnot. But anyway, we're going to get into that. Be sure, as you are jumping in here, jump into the chat. Let me know if you can hear me okay and see me okay. I am on the road, so I don't have the best audio or visual setup and whatnot. But as long as you guys can see and hear good enough, then we can still make some money. So that's the main thing, right? What's up, Alicia? Janet, how you doing? Faith, good to see you. Look how many ladies are in the chat. This is so cool. Olivia, I'm getting a annoyed comment because it's 4:45 p.m. somewhere in the world apparently. So sorry, my friend. But it's only the morning here in Dubai, and at the end of the day, like, Asia doesn't really do much. Like, let's be honest. So it's kind of a little bit better doing it at this time anyway, before UK opens, and we can actually see, assess what's going on once Asia has set the initial high and low of the day. So sorry for that, Anonymo, but probably going to be a time change for the time being. What else have we got here? Bullish on Smash Avos in the house. D-War. Yes, guys, be sure to smash the like button. If you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Also, don't forget to hit subscribe. But you don't have to do it now. Let's get into some information. And if that information helps you, then that's how you return the favor, is with a like and a subscribe if you're not already subscribed. So let's talk about this move, because I want to tell you why I'm suspicious and why you should be as well. Number one is, first of all, we're very, very overextended in the delta of the leverage. So let's start right on high block, and let's just get this out the way if it wants to load. Here we go. So currently we've got a delta here of, sorry, this is super slow, especially from my hotel internet. We've got currently a delta of 34 billion. Now that is still ridiculously high. If you're new to this channel and you don't know what I'm looking at right now, what I'm looking at is all the current open positions on futures, perpetual contracts on Binance, and it's showing me where everybody's liquidation levels are for current open positions. You can have a look up here and see that we've got a massive imbalance of many more people in long positions compared to, let me just get this little thing off, because it's annoying. Wait. Many more people in long positions currently and still holding them than we do have short positions. And what you're seeing underneath here is everyone who is long, where they will be liquidated if price heads down, and you're looking at the opposite above the current price. So, and down the bottom here is the delta showing the imbalance of shorts versus longs, how much more extra leverage is in the market for long positions. Now, normally we start to pay attention when that gets to around 20 billion, which it hasn't been even close to there in many months. And so when you put that into context and you see that we're now at 34 billion, knowing that 20 billion is usually a reversal area, that should shock you that we're at 34. Now, the worst thing is that actually got up to 44 on the weekend. So we have come down 10 billion. Doesn't mean 10 billion people have been, $10 billion worth has been wiped out. It's a combination of people closing trades as well as getting liquidated. So 100x traders get liquidated with a very small move. And it would be a lot of those that have been taken out. They get taken out on small moves like this. So you can see here, I've been keeping an eye on the delta in this range to see, kind of what's going on. But this was when we hit 44. And then this little move down here wiped out 5 billion. Then we had a move up again over US. Is this US? US last night, and this little move down here in the dead gap zone wiped out another 5 billion. So you see, price doesn't necessarily have to move far in order to wipe out leverage. So we need to keep that in mind. What we really look for is where the big spikes are out here. So as targets. So the fact there's still such a high amount of leverage in the market is definitely a concern. When we have a look to above price, now I'm going to have to turn this back on, we can see, sorry, it's really hard to get it to go to exactly where I want it to go. But anyway, it's not going to go there. But this line that I'm trying to show you, it's actually at $22,000 Bitcoin. So that's what we have a range up to. Now, it doesn't mean that they will go up there, then drop it back. It just means that's what's available if that's how they want to do it. And that's what we need to know, is what's available. Then we turn to the charts to have a look at what's kind of more likely. Now, the problem that we have, let's have a look back over the last week or so on Bitcoin, and I'm going to tell you why I think this move is fake. And that, just be very aware that my words there don't mean that I'm saying this is going to dump hard and the bear market is like not over. And I'll explain that more in a second. Just stay with me, because it can be a fake move that continues to be fake. And that's the key for today. Okay. So having a look at this, we can see ever since this run started, which it actually started back in the, well, it started way before. It actually started before Christmas. But let's have a look at this last week's run. You can see here that the major move was made in the dead gap zone on this day. And then the next major move was made here, which was after US closed. So again, so dead gap zone, it means the market maker's not on duty. They're not there playing the game. After US close, the market maker's not on duty. They're not there playing the game. And even if you go back further into last week, which now looks tiny, but at the time it was huge, we started fake moves here in the dead gap zone as well. So for the last week or so, a lot of the fake moves have been happening in the dead zone. So then you have to ask yourself, not just the weekend one, a lot of them for the whole week. So you have to ask yourself, why would they do that? And the only reason that that is happening is because the dead gap zone is the 3-hour gap between the US and Asia, where the market maker is not on duty. And it's from 5 p.m. US to 8 p.m. And what that means is that volume is generally lower. When volume is lower, it's easier to manipulate the market. And so who comes in to do that is whales, people who bought Bitcoin super early and they leverage trade with it, and, you know, can play games because they have a lot of Bitcoin and a lot of money, and they can, you know, cause some havoc on retail. So the point being that I don't particularly think that this move up is the market maker, because they've reached their limitation of the amount of leverage that they normally lend out, and they haven't taken it back yet. Sorry, that just flashed. I hope that my stream is actually okay for you guys. I can't see any comments, so I'm going to assume that it is. But anyway, so I kind of have a feeling that the fact that this is happening when markets are closed, there's somebody else behind this. Now, you guys, you know who I am suspicious of it being. The other thing too is I've seen a lot on social media saying that this move here happened because somebody bought $4 billion worth of Bitcoin. Let me tell you why that's rubbish. First of all, if you are a billionaire and can afford to buy $4 billion worth of Bitcoin, you buy it OTC. And the reason that you do that is so that you can lock in a stable price. You don't go to Binance and spot buy. And let me tell you, if there is a billionaire out there going to Binance and spot buying Bitcoin, like, get in touch, because I'll manage your account and you know, I'll only take a 25% fee for doing it, right? So I don't believe that for a second. I'm just joking, by the way, guys. Don't reach out to me to manage your account. I do not manage accounts. But I don't believe that for a second that somebody went and spot bought Bitcoin on Binance. What is more likely is that somebody's selling their Bitcoin now on the spot market. And that person probably did buy it OTC when Bitcoin was back at 15.5 grand. And now they're selling it to you because, as you know, if price is moving up, that's retail FOMO buying, which means someone is selling and the controller is always the seller. So the person with the bigger money is currently selling to you, not buying on the spot market. So that's completely wrong. Now, the next thing we have to be very, very careful of, 25% B. No, I was just joking. I hope you guys can still see me. I can see there's a comment about frozen. Can you guys still see me okay? All good. Okay, good. It is sometimes flashing red, so apologize. But hopefully we're okay. I'm going to try and smash this out just so that we can get it out. So the next thing I want to tell you that I want you to be really cautious of is right now, if you are watching how retail trade or what retail, what's the word? Oh, geez, I forgot the word. Retail sentiment is a lot of retail saying, okay, we've had the push, now we need the pullback, right? Now we know how it works. If everybody is wanting a pullback, it's likely that we don't get a pullback. Let me just zoom out on this. Actually, I'm just going to expand this one so we can talk about this on a higher time frame. What we do know as those who trade this particular strategy is that this here last week was a 33 trade. I won't go into detail what that is because it takes too long to explain, but if you are wanting to learn to trade the way that we trade, then consider coming to join us. The link to our website is in the description of this video. You can check it out, scroll down, have a look at the memberships, meet the team, etc., and start to learn this method. But the point I'm trying to make is that this here is the 33 trade. The 33 trade ends with an extended period of consolidation. What are we in right now? Essentially, when you look at the 1 hour time frame, we're just in an extended period of consolidation. So and what I mean by that is it takes longer than a normal consolidation would. Now, a 33 trade can potentially, usually does end with a reversal, but we've got a bigger problem here. Why I'm saying the reversal may not come as soon as we think it's going to come. And that is that we now have, even though this is spot, it's the same on perps. We have 1 hit to a level, 2 hits to a level, 3 hits to a level, and we're continuing to create higher lows. Now, normally 3 hits to a level at level 3 means reversal imminent. However, what you have to watch for after the 3 hits to the level is whether we create a higher low or a lower high. It's that key right there that tells you if we're going to break the level or reject the level. So now if we zoom in on this, what's going on right here, and we have a look. So we've counted, let me just actually mark them so that I'm being super clear. We've got 1, we've got 2, and we've got 3, okay? So now we assess what happens after the 3. This right here is a bounce off the 50 EMA on the 1 hour time frame. At this point in time is a higher low, okay? So at this point in time, you should be prepared for price to actually break to the upside. However, what we need to see is if it can come back for a 4th time to that level, that's when you would think we're going to break out to the upside. After this candle, however, if we create a lower high, which is potentially happening right now, right here, right? So if we get a bearish candlestick starting to form here, then you would say, okay, that's actually a lower high and we're going down from here. So you don't want to see price now return to these wicks. If price returns to these wicks, we're probably going to go up before we go down, which is why I'd be very, very cautious of trading anything really at all right now until you're sure. But the problem then is you have to assess your risk to reward. If we did break out to the upside, we know that the liquidity we have available is at 22K, and that's number one. And then number two, when we zoom in on this area here, The very largest amount that we have currently is at 21,700, right? Which was a level a lot of people were talking about in the Discord yesterday. And they weren't wrong to talk about it, because you can see here we've got 21,763 from the heat maps, and then also up to 22. So at the end of the day, sorry, I keep flipping to the wrong chart. Even if price broke out to the upside, now this is where you have to make a personal choice, and I'm not saying do one thing or the other, but if price did break to the upside at this point in time, your target is only going to be around 22K. Is that going to be a trade worth taking, in your opinion? That's what you have to decide. Or are you better off being refreshed and go, okay, 22K is the target, I'm going to start looking for reversals if it does break out instead, and catch that, because that is going to be much juicier, right? That should be your thought process right now, but also be open to the lower high being set, and that your short is actually entered here with your stop loss here, and ride down from there. All you're waiting for at this point in time, in my opinion, sorry, I drew all over that. Let me undo it. In my opinion, this candle here has just opened at here. You've got 59 minutes of this 1 hour candle. I would be making my decision potentially after that, depending on how it closes, rather than making any other moves right now. And then the last thing I want to show you that I just want you to be aware of is this. Let's just pay attention to what's going on here on the daily for Bitcoin. So we currently have this W formation, which we know we've broken out of the W, and then technically if it's going to prove itself, it should retest. And that's what everybody's waiting for, is the retest, right? Again, if everyone's waiting, it's likely it doesn't happen. Let me just show you this. And before I do, disclaimer, I'm not saying that the bottom is in for Bitcoin, but I want to show you this in the 2018 cycle. If we zoom in on that area, have a look here what happened when the bottom actually was in 2018. We created the W formation. We had this big breakout here. Does this here not look almost exactly the same? And the other thing too is, have a look here at, let's go from here to here. That was 134 days of accumulation, right? Now, if they accumulated for 134 days, then you have to ask yourself why. Like, to accumulate for that long, they're building massive contracts in the W, like massive. And as a result, we broke out, and that ended up taking us to the top back in 2018. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is, have a look here, how we never came back for a retest. And that's the trap. If we are, now, as we know, history doesn't repeat, it rhymes. What am I trying to draw here? Here. At the end of the day, if we were to have something similar, what will need to happen is Bitcoin would need to break the 22K and then never come back under it if we're going to have a continued uptrend. So at this point in time, up to under this line, we're looking very much the same. But what I'm saying is, if this is going to turn out to be like the bottom actually is in, don't sit there waiting for retests all the way back down to 18, 19K, because the market maker knows, like, if they really want to start the bull market basically now, which it's not going to feel like a bull market because it doesn't take off for months, right? But if the bottom is in, is probably a better way for me to say it. If the bottom is in, they're probably not going to come back to the bottom to give you a chance to get in. So just be aware of that. I personally think this move is fake, to be very clear, because of what I've explained in the start of this video, that the moves are not happening when markets are open. So just being very, very clear. But at the same time, I'm very open to us never revisiting the low, and that the bottom is in, right? And at the end of the day, I can't say yes or no. The only time we ended up coming back to revisit this level was the Corona low, but it was a flash crash and we basically immediately recovered. Look at that. But that was after we hit the, no, it wasn't. It was, oh, sorry, no. This was, what am I saying? This was the start of the next bull market. Yes, sorry. So we did revisit it once, but it was a corona flash crash, just to be clear. So here, hopefully we don't have another pandemic to give us the pullback to get back in. I'm certainly not wishing for that. But at the end of the day, we have to be prepared for that there may never be a pullback, number one, to tell us that the bear market is over. But number two is, I think we should be very, very aware that this move is potentially fake, and it's possible. I don't know if I would be shorting from here where price is right now. Definitely, actually, I wouldn't really even be paying attention to the 15-minute time frame for that reason, just because I think the 1 hour is going to be more reliable in this case. So I would be waiting. Oh, geez, what am I doing? I would be waiting for a 1 hour lower high to form before I take any shorts. Even that is a high risk entry, because it's likely it wouldn't have broken the 50 EMA yet. So if you want to be even more conservative, you would wait for it to break the 50, retest, then go in short. And the reason for that is because, look, we've had one bounce off the 50, two bounce. We've actually had three bounces off the 50. So even if you got a lower high here and took a short, it may go back to the 50 and bounce. So you just have to know that you're taking that risk if you try to get a lower high entry. And if you want to be a bit more conservative, let it break. That proves the move. Let it break, let it retest. And if the retest fails to get back above, or, there's no vectors there, so it'd have to fail to get back above, then it's safer to take a short from that point on. But I would be very open to a potential, say between 21.7 to 22, I'd be open to a potential fake spike, because that would just be a stop hunt for everybody who's shorted here, right? Because everybody is shorting here because everybody wants a pullback, right? So it makes sense. Come, take out their stop losses, drop it hard. The other thing too is that market making is not going to make it easy for you. Like, if everybody is expecting price to pull back from here, and they're all going to start saying price is struggling at, price is struggling at 21.3. It can't break through, They're not going to be like, here's a nice little easy entry for you to catch a short, like we're going to be nice to you. They're not. They're going to drop it hard and fast. And so far, this drop here, if we go down to the I'll do it from here. If we go down to the 15-minute time frame, let me tell you how we played this in the Discord yesterday. There hasn't been any hard and fast drops yet. So yesterday we were looking for M formations here, and this was an M formation, and it had all the triggers, so we did enter a short. However, once we have a level 1 drop, we always have what I call a refund zone, which is an area where you'll cut the trade before you lose any money, and that is usually here. So it's if it comes back up into that zone right there, then that means that it's going to create a higher high, which invalidates the whole move. But because our entry was here, we get out at entry, and there's no loss other than, a few fees. So this happened here, and then this here was the board meeting. We were expecting another drop to break the 200. US opened, and you know what? US was actually closed last night. So why did this happen in the US? It comes back to what I'm saying to you about the dead gap zone and the weekend move. This here is the fake move that happened in the US because the market was closed. So there are games going on right now, and that there then invalidated our trade, and we cut it at break even or whatever. So that's now invalid. And so the point of that being is, well, can you see it now? Yeah, you can. And potentially that's a little bit of a better M because the market is actually open. But just because of what's going on, you also have to pay attention to the higher time frame, 3 hits to the high, creating higher lows. So there you go. That's how I would play that now. Up to you whether you want to play on the 15-minute. For me, I'm going to stick to the 1 hour to give me my confirmation. And yeah, everyone expecting it to retest, it will not do it. Exactly. Like, if everyone's talking about it, it's probably not going to happen. 27K is where everyone thinks the bottom is in, but the stock market will roll over. Anyway, okay, so that's why I'm open to, because everybody thinks it's a pullback, I'm open to a fake move up first, then a drop down from there. So I wouldn't trade it long from here, and that's easy for me to say because I'm already in 2 long positions on Bitcoin. I get that, and you might think, well, hang on, what if it does break out and it keeps going? Like, I get that. You have to make that decision. The other thing to me is, like, it's also not just the fact that it's 22K, but when you zoom out on it, it's it's going to show, it's a recovery of this vector candle here. So if it fails 22K, that's going to be around about 50% of that vector candle, which is where we look for rejections anyway. So yeah, everything to me is like saying don't long this if it breaks to the upside. Just be a little bit more patient and get ready to short it back down when people are least expecting it. That's pretty much all I have to say for you guys. If you're looking for somewhere to trade, you guys know my preferred exchange is OKX. There is a link in the description of this video, but be sure to go check out their website first. You can check out the audit and everything on their site. And if you feel comfortable with it, feel free to use that link. It will give you 15% discount off your trading fees, and consider coming and joining us in the Discord. We have had what is that doing? We've had a record number of people join us this year, which is fantastic news because it goes to show that you guys are taking your financial education very seriously, and well done to you guys. So again, links to the description are in that. Oh, one more thing before I let you go, sorry, is I want to talk about the heat maps and also why this adds to my idea that this is all fake. These heat maps have been empty AF for days. Like, we have not had any significant levels at all to look at as targets or anything like that. It's been literally dead. This is the busiest I've seen the order book, honestly. Even the order book has been ridiculously empty, which makes me believe that these moves that are happening, they're not happening with people just like trading on an exchange. Like, there's definitely big money moving this in a way that it's being hidden from the exchange, or they're just not trading on Binance. And the other thing too is, like, when there's a lot of manipulation going on, I tend to turn to BitMEX because the OG whales love BitMEX. That's where they all used to trade. And when you watch BitMEX, it's almost impossible to mark out. You can see that right there. It's almost impossible to mark out levels because these amounts here, you can see 5 million shorts there, 5 million longs there. They are constantly jumping around, like, so much so that I would say this is bots. It's not even humans. Like, see how much the red is flashing in the 3 seconds that I've had it up. That's been happening for days. Like, this whole area here, it's been like that. So yeah, there's definite games going on, guys. Just be careful, but be on the alert, because when this thing comes down, it's going to be juicy and we want to be ready for it. All right, that's all I have for you. Have the most amazing day. Yes, pure manipulation, I agree. And tomorrow I'm checking out of this hotel into another one, but I'm going to try and get a late checkout so that I can still do my live. So hopefully I will see you tomorrow. If not, I'll do a recording before I check out and just post that up. All right, guys, have an amazing day and trade safe, and I'll see you.